Ugh, those days are tough. I call them brain fog days.
Brain fog. That is a great description. When everything feels cloudy. On those days, the negative thoughts come back very quickly. They say, you are not making progress. You are stuck.
When that happens to me, I try to change the timeline. Instead of looking at just today, I look back 6 months. I ask myself, do I know more now than I did 6 months ago?
That is a brilliant strategy. It's about perspective. We often look at the mountain ahead of us and see how far we have to go. We rarely look down the mountain and see how far we have climbed.
Yes, celebration is so important. We need to celebrate small wins. If you learned 5 new words this week, that is a victory. If you understood a joke in a movie, that is a victory.
And you should verbally tell yourself that. Good job, me. I understood that. It reinforces the positive pathway in your brain. It's like training a dog. You give a dog a treat when it does something good. You need to give your brain a treat, which is praise, when it does something good.
But many of us are raised to be modest. We think it is arrogant to praise ourselves.
That is a cultural barrier, for sure. But in the privacy of your own mind, you must be your biggest fan. Because the world will challenge you. English is a hard language. There are irregular verbs, strange spellings, different accents. If you are not on your own team, who will be?
If you're not on your own team, who will be? I am going to write that down. That is profound. It reminds me of how we talk to children. When a baby is learning to walk and they fall down, we don't say, "You are terrible at walking, give up."
No, we clap. We say, get up, you can do it, good try.
Exactly. But when we learn English as adults and we make a mistake, we tell ourselves, "You are stupid." Why don't we treat ourselves like we treat a baby learning to walk?
Because we have lost that innocence. We have fear of judgment now. But to learn fast, we have to become like children again. We have to be willing to fall down and laugh.
Laughter is key. If you say the wrong word and it sounds funny, just laugh. Don't be embarrassed. I remember once I tried to say kitchen in Spanish, which is cocina, but I said coquina with a wrong emphasis, and I think I said something about a pig? I don't remember exactly, but the waiter laughed.
And did you die?
I did not die. I laughed too, and now I never forget that word. The emotion of laughter helped me remember.
See? A positive reaction to a mistake led to learning. A negative reaction, like shame, would have made you silent. So the thought, mistakes are funny and helpful, is a much better thought than mistakes are shameful.
It really comes down to choosing your thoughts. It sounds like hard work, constantly monitoring your mind.
It is work. It's mental exercise, just like going to the gym. At first, lifting the weight is heavy, but after a month, it's light. At first, choosing a positive thought is hard, but eventually it becomes your default setting. You become an optimist by habit.
And that's when the magic happens. When you automatically think, "I can understand this," your brain works harder to understand it. Tom, I think we're at another vocabulary checkpoint.
I think so too. We have been flowing through some great ideas. Let's look at the 3 words for this section.
The first word is perspective. This means a particular attitude toward or way of regarding something, a point of view, like looking down the mountain instead of up.
The second word is reinforce. To reinforce means to strengthen an object or substance, or in psychology, to reinforce a behavior. When you praise yourself, you reinforce the learning.
And the third word is arrogant. This is an adjective. It describes someone who has an exaggerated sense of their own abilities or importance. We said praising yourself isn't arrogant, it is necessary.
Okay, Riet, what is your question for this part?
My question is about reinforcing. Tom, what is one simple thing our listeners can do today, right now, to reinforce their identity as an English speaker?
I love actionable advice. Here's my challenge. Go to the mirror, look at yourself in the eyes, and say out loud, I am a confident English speaker and I'm getting better every day.
It feels a bit silly to talk to a mirror, doesn't it?
It feels very silly. That's the point. Push past the silliness. Do it until you believe it. Your voice is the most influential voice in your life. You need to hear yourself say it.
I am going to do that tonight. I am a confident podcaster.
You already are, Ria, but yes, do it.
You know, Tom, as we're getting closer to the end of this episode, I want to talk about the long term. We say, you become what you think. Does this mean if I think I am fluent, I will wake up fluent tomorrow?
I put my phone in it, and I leave it there for at least 1 hour.
1 whole hour? What if someone calls you?
My ringer is on loud, so if it is an emergency, I will hear it, but I turn off the internet data. That first hour after work is sacred. It is for me. It is for cooking, or talking to my family, or just sitting in silence, but no screens.
How did you feel the first time you did that? Did you feel anxious?
I felt very anxious. I kept reaching for my pocket. I felt like I was missing out on something. It is an addiction, really. But after about 3 days, I noticed something amazing. My mind became quiet. The stress from the office faded away much faster because I wasn't constantly reminded of the world.
That sounds incredibly peaceful. It forces you to be present in the real world, in your actual home.
It does, and that hour feels much longer than an hour spent on the phone. An hour on the phone feels like 5 minutes. An hour cooking a nice meal without looking at a screen feels like a real, substantial break.
I need to try this. I am guilty of checking my messages the moment I walk in.
It takes willpower, but it is the most effective change I made.
Tom, looking back at that section, we had some strong vocabulary words again.
We did. Let's help our listeners with 3 of them.
The first one is sacred.
Sacred usually refers to something religious or holy, like a church or a temple. But when we say a time is sacred, we mean it is very important and should not be interfered with or changed.
The second word is addiction.
Addiction is a strong need to do something or use something, even if you know it might be bad for you. Usually we talk about drugs, but phone addiction is very real.
And the third word is substantial.
Substantial means large in size, value, or importance. When I said a substantial break, I meant a break that feels big and meaningful, not small or empty.
Tom, here is my question for this section. In this modern world, many people use their phones to relax. They watch funny videos or chat with friends. Why do you think that is not a good way to rest after work?
That is a tricky one. I think it can be relaxing in small amounts, but the problem is the input. When you're on your phone, your brain is constantly processing new images, new text, and new colors. It's not resting, it's working. True rest usually involves less input. It involves silence or simple actions. When you watch short videos for an hour, your brain is exhausted afterwards, even if you feel like you were just sitting there.
That is a brilliant distinction. Rest versus distraction. They are not the same thing.
No, they are not. Distraction makes time disappear. Rest gives you energy back.
Okay, so we have the transition ritual and we have the phone basket rule. What is the third thing you did?
The third thing is about what I actually do with that time. I call this the low-energy hobby.
Low energy hobby. That sounds interesting because usually when people say get a hobby, they mean go to the gym or learn to play the guitar or learn a language. Those things take a lot of effort.
Exactly, and that was my mistake. I would tell myself, tonight I'm going to study Spanish for 2 hours, but I was tired from work, so I wouldn't do it, and then I would feel guilty, and because I felt guilty, I would just watch TV.
The cycle of guilt. I know it well. You set the bar too high and then you give up completely.
Yes, so I realized I needed a hobby that was productive but required very low physical and mental energy, something I could do even if I was exhausted.
Can you give us an example?
For me, it was sketching, just drawing with a pencil on paper. I'm not a good artist, I'm actually quite bad, but moving the pencil on the paper is relaxing. I don't have to think hard, I don't have to run or lift heavy weights.
So it's active enough to keep your brain engaged, but easy enough that it doesn't feel like work.
Precisely. Another example is reading fiction, not reading business books or books to make you smarter, just reading a simple story. It keeps your brain focused on one thing, unlike the phone where you jump around.
I like doing puzzles, jigsaw puzzles.
That is perfect. That is a classic low-energy hobby. You're doing something with your hands, you're solving a problem, but it's slow, it's calming.
And the key is that it's not a screen.
Yes, the goal is to enter a state of flow. Flow is when you're so focused on a simple task that you forget about time and worry. It's very healing for a tired mind.
And because it's low energy, you don't dread starting it. You don't think, oh no, this is going to be hard.
Exactly. It's easy to start. And once you start, you usually enjoy it for an hour.
Tom, I think we have found our next set of vocabulary words.
I think so too.
The first word is productive.
Productive means achieving a good result or doing something useful. We often think work is productive, but resting properly is also productive.
The second word is guilty.
Feeling guilty means feeling bad because you think you did something wrong. In this case, feeling bad because you didn't do the hard work you planned.
And the third word is dread.
To dread something means to be very worried or afraid about something that is going to happen. If you dread your evening hobby, you won't do it.
So, Tom, my question is, what if someone says, I don't have any hobbies? Some people really just work and watch TV. How do they find a low-energy hobby?
That is a very common situation. My advice is to think back to when you were a child. What did you do for fun when you were 10 years old? Did you build things with Lego? Did you color in books? Did you collect rocks? Usually, the things we loved as children are the things that will relax us as adults.
That is lovely advice. We forget how to play as we get older.
We do. We think everything has to be serious or make money, but the evening is for you. It is for play.
Okay, moving on. What is number 4?
Number 4 is a practical one. It is called pre-planning the evening.
Planning? But isn't the evening supposed to be free time?
It is, but here's the secret. Decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue. Can you explain that?
Sure. Every time you make a decision, it uses a little bit of your brain's energy. What to wear, what to eat, how to reply to an email. By 6 p.m., you have made thousands of decisions. Your decision muscle is tired.
So when you get home and ask yourself, what should I do now, you can't decide.
Exactly. The brain says, I cannot choose anymore, so it chooses the default option, and the default is usually the sofa and the television.
So how do you fix this?
I decide what I'm going to do in the evening before the evening starts. Usually, I decide in the morning or during my lunch break. I tell myself, tonight I will cook pasta, and then I will read my book for 30 minutes.
You write the script for your evening.
Yes, when I walk in the door, I don't have to think. I just follow the plan I made when my brain was fresh. It removes the friction.
That is so smart. It's like you're being a good boss to yourself. You're giving your tired self a clear instruction.
That is a great way to put it. You are being kind to your future tired self. If you don't plan, you will waste the time trying to decide. Have you ever spent 20 minutes scrolling through Netflix just trying to pick a movie?
Oh, all the time. And then by the time I pick one, I'm too tired to watch it.
That is decision fatigue. If you'd decided on the movie during lunch, you could have just pressed play immediately.
It seems like structure actually gives you more freedom.
It absolutely does. It guarantees that you do the things you actually want to do, rather than just doing nothing.
Let's pause for our vocabulary review again. These are very useful concepts.
Go ahead, Ria.
The first phrase is decision fatigue.
This is the condition of being unable to make good decisions because you have made too many already. It is mental exhaustion.
The second word is default.
Default is the option that is selected automatically when you do not choose anything else. For most of us, the default evening activity is watching screens.
And the third word is friction.
Friction usually means the resistance when two things rub together. In psychology and habits, friction means the difficulty or effort it takes to start a task. We want to reduce friction for good habits.
Tom, here's a question. What if you plan your evening, but then you come home and you just don't feel like doing it? What if you plan to read, but you really just want to sleep?
That happens, and it's important to be flexible. If you are physically sick or absolutely exhausted, you should rest. But usually the feeling of, I don't want to do it, is just that friction we talked about. If you just start for 5 minutes, you usually realize you enjoy it. So my rule is, try the plan for 5 minutes. If you still hate it, then stop. But usually you won't want to stop.
That is the 5-minute rule. I use that for cleaning the house. Just 5 minutes, and then suddenly the whole kitchen is clean.
It works like magic.
Okay, Tom, we're at the final point. What is the fifth thing you did to stop wasting your evenings?
The fifth thing is connect or create.
Connect or create. This sounds like a motto.
It is. I realize that consumption, watching TV, scrolling social media, listening to news, is passive. It happens to you. But happiness usually comes from doing something active. So I made a rule that my evening must contain either a connection or a creation.
Let's break that down. What do you mean by connection?
Connection means real interaction with a human being. It could be having a proper conversation with my wife where we actually look at each other and not at our phones. It could be calling my mother. It could be playing with my dog.
So engaging with a living thing.
Yes, it recharges your emotional battery. Loneliness makes you tired. Connection wakes you up.
And what about creation?
Creation goes back to the hobbies we talked about, but it can be anything. Cooking a meal is creation, writing in a journal is creation, fixing a broken chair is creation.
It is about putting something out into the world rather than just taking things in.
Exactly. When you go to bed after creating something, even something small like a sandwich or a sketch, you feel satisfied. You feel like you existed today. You made a mark.
That is deep. When we just consume, we feel empty. When we create, we feel full.
That is the perfect summary. So my checklist for the evening is simple. Did I connect with someone or did I create something? If the answer is yes, then it wasn't a wasted evening.
I love that. It takes the pressure off. You don't have to change the world. You just have to cook a nice dinner or call a friend.
It is about quality of life. We work so hard. We deserve to have evenings that make us feel good, not just evenings that numb us.
Numb is a strong word, but accurate. Tom, let's do our final vocabulary check.
Okay, let's do it.
The first word is consumption.
Consumption is the act of using something up, or in this context, taking in information, entertainment, or food. Watching TV is consumption.
The second word is passive.
Passive means accepting or allowing what happens or what others do without active response or resistance. Sitting and watching is passive. Doing and making is active.
And the third word is satisfied.
Satisfied means feeling happy or pleased because you have achieved something or got what you wanted. It is a deep feeling of contentment.
Tom, my final question for you is this. You have given us these 5 steps. Did you do them all at once, or did you start slowly?
That is the most important question of all. No, I did not do them all at once. If you try to change everything tomorrow, you will fail. I started with just the first one, the transition ritual. I did that for 2 weeks. Once that was a habit, I added the phone basket.
So, baby steps.
Yes, improving your life is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself. If you have a bad evening and waste time, don't be angry. Just try again tomorrow.
That is very encouraging. I think that's a perfect place to wrap up today's discussion.
I think so too. We hope this conversation has given you some ideas on how to reclaim your evenings. Your time is precious.
It really is. Thank you all for listening to Real English Voices. We hope you learned some new words and maybe a new way to look at your daily routine.
Remember, you don't have to do big things to make a big difference. Wash your face, put down the phone, and create something small.
If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a comment telling us what you do in the evenings to relax. We love reading your stories.
Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep speaking.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.